By week 5, the crew of a Virginia-class submarine has not seen sunlight in 35 days, and they are nowhere near halfway through. The air they breathe is manufactured by the submarine itself. Every ounce of food for weeks ahead was loaded before departure, and no resupply is coming. The world above the waterline keeps moving. News breaks. Families sit down for dinner. Seasons begin to change. And the 132 men sealed inside this steel tube will know none of it. No phone calls, no headlines, no way to know if something happened to someone they love. Just the hum of a nuclear reactor, the occasional ping of sonar, and the knowledge that the ocean above them stretches for hundreds of feet in every direction. Somewhere in the middle of all of that is the captain. His cabin is smaller than most people's closets. He has 6 hours of broken sleep behind him, and full responsibility for a nuclear reactor, classified weapons, and every person aboard. This is not an emergency. This is just what Tuesday looks like at 600 feet below the surface. So how do 132 people eat, stay physically fit, and keep a $4 billion warship running for 3 full months with no resupply and no outside help? The moment a Virginia-class submarine descends below the surface, the crew's connection to the outside world does not gradually fade. It cuts off completely. Sunlight disappears the instant the boat submerges. Above the water, life continues without them. But down here, every resource the crew will rely on for the next 90 days was loaded before departure, and nothing more is coming. What most people never consider is that the physical side of submarine life is actually the easier part. The harder challenge is the mental one. Former submariners describe the early weeks as a gradual process of letting go of sunrises, of phone calls, of the quiet belief that help is somewhere nearby. The submarine stops being the place they work and slowly becomes the only world that exists. Some sailors find their footing quickly, others take weeks, but every one of them eventually reaches the same point. You do not fight the submarine, you learn to live inside it. And once that mental shift happens, a completely different battle begins. One that starts the moment they close their eyes. The nuclear reactor runs without pause. Sonar operators listen around the clock. Navigation, weapons systems, and engineering controls require constant human attention at every hour of every day. There are no nights off and no weekends. Christmas gets a better meal. Life on board is built around rotating shifts. Sailors cycle between standing watch, completing maintenance, and sleeping. A 2024 study tracked 58 crew members across 30 days underwater and found they averaged 6.62 hours of actual sleep per day. What surprised researchers was that despite no natural light and shifting schedules, most sailors' bodies partially adapted over time. Not perfectly, but enough to stay functional through a full patrol. The captain does not even have that level of consistency. He holds no fixed rotation. A sonar contact at 3 in the morning pulls him out of his bunk immediately. A navigation concern in shallow water requires his presence, regardless of when he last slept. His executive officer manages routine operations to allow the captain rest, but the captain is never truly off duty, not for a single day across 90 days underwater. And that is only the sleep problem, because when he finally gets back to that bunk, he is returning to a world where 131 other people share the same shrinking air, the same narrow corridors, and the same single washer and dryer. Virginia-class submarines carry 132 crew members and have roughly 94 bunks. The practice is called hot racking. One sailor finishes his shift and climbs out, and another coming off watch climbs into the same bunk while it is still warm. Mattresses are 30 inches wide, stacked 3 high in narrow passageways. The entire crew shares 1 washer and 1 dryer. Showers run 5 minutes maximum. Over 3 months, these conditions quietly shape how people think, how they treat each other, and how much patience they have left. But this is where things get interesting. Ask any sailor across the U.S. Navy where the best food is served, and the answer is almost always the same. Submarines. Not carriers, not surface ships. Submarines. And that is entirely intentional. When the Navy removes sunlight, personal space, and contact with family, food becomes the one thing left to look forward to. So the submarine service allocates the highest per-person food budget in the entire military, and culinary specialists often train at institutions like the Culinary Institute of America before producing prime rib and desserts in a galley the size of a walk-in closet. Before departure, supplies are stacked under plywood along the deck floors so the crew can walk over them. As food gets consumed, the floor level slowly drops. Fresh produce runs out after roughly 1 week. After that, it is frozen meat, powdered milk, and canned goods across 4 meals every day to accommodate every watch rotation. The soft-serve ice cream machine, known as the Auto Dog, is treated as essential equipment. When it breaks, it gets repaired before almost anything else on the boat. The crew eats, barely sleeps, and still has to stay physically capable of operating a nuclear warship at depth. And the place where they work out is something most people would never guess. Physical fitness standards do not pause underwater. Every sailor must maintain readiness across a 90-day patrol, which creates an obvious problem. A Virginia-class submarine was not designed with crew fitness in mind. So sailors use the torpedo room, the same compartment storing live Mark 48 torpedoes, each carrying roughly 650 pounds of high explosive. Kettlebells, TRX straps, and adjustable dumbbells are packed into whatever space exists between the weapons racks. During quiet operations, even treadmills get shut off. The rhythmic impact of footsteps travels through water and can be detected by hostile sonar from miles away. Sailors switch to suspension training and bodyweight work instead, because operational security always comes before personal comfort. Behind all of this, the systems sustaining 132 lives run quietly. The oxygen generation system replaces breathable air. The nuclear reactor powers every system without a single refuel. But even with everything functioning perfectly, the submarine's ability to hold together for 3 months ultimately comes down to one person. And what that person carries is unlike any leadership role that exists on land. Every challenge in this video, the broken sleep, the shared bunks, the torpedo room workouts, the food counted to the last can, rests entirely on the captain. He is responsible for 132 crew members, a nuclear reactor, classified weapon systems, and a mission most of the public will never hear about. During a 90-day patrol, sailors receive between 8 and 10 family messages, each capped at 40 words, screened before delivery, with no ability to reply. When serious news arrives from home, the captain decides when and how to share it, weighing what the sailor deserves to know against what the mission requires. That is not a procedural responsibility. It is one of the heaviest human decisions he carries alongside everything else. Reaching command takes well over a decade. Nuclear power school, reactor training, submarine officer qualification, years of deployments, and an executive officer assignment. Before anyone takes command, the Director of Naval Nuclear Propulsion personally interviews every candidate. Very few make it through. What no training prepares a captain for is the weight of being the one person who is never, across any of those 90 days, completely off-duty. 600 feet below the surface. Week 9, floor still dropping. The mission does not wait.